Howdy doody, people. How are we all today? Hope you guys enjoyed the intro. It's something new that I've been experimenting. Oh, hang on. Hang on. No, that's better. Let me get rid of this. That's better. I got rid of it. No, I'm not a professional DJ, as you can all see and tell and whatnot. So hopefully everybody's had a good week. Not got up to too much mischief. If he's dead, I hope he's enjoyed your mischief that he got up to. We're going to have a quick hello to everybody here. Steve 87. Oh, you're first in. Well, I was giving away free Vegemite sandwiches for breakfast, but you didn't show up, so you missed out. Tracks on Mike, how are you? Nice to see you in here. And White, Curly, how are you? Nice to see you in here as well. Let me go and do this properly, see what else is on the chat. Jean Ricard, nice to see you in here. Jim Tedesco, welcome. Mike at Putnam Junction, hopefully I got that right. Ron Moen, nice to see you in here. Randall, welcome. We USA. I keep forgetting your name. I know you're up north from me here. Welcome. It's an Australian channel. Wigwag, how are ya? Still 87. Geez, you're in here early today too. JD, welcome. Welcome to the stream. Okay, we're gonna have some little bit of fun. And let's hopefully that is great news. Yeah, I have gained some subs here, White. I'm stoked and over the moon. What's the count? I'm getting close to, well, I'm 258, hitting the 260 mark, which I haven't been really that much on YouTube this week and watching too many streams between dealing with medical issues. Also had internet issues. I think I'm on top of that. The provider sent me a new modem. So far, it's working. We are experiencing a big windstorm at the moment. It's blowing a gale outside. It's basically blowing all the fur off all the kangaroos outside at the moment. It's that windy. I was going to go out and do a stream from the kids convoy that's going on today, but we would have been competing, or you guys would have been competing, hearing me talk with the wind blasting through the microphone. It's the biggest convoy in the Southern Hemisphere, and it is, naked roos, Jim. I'll tell you what, that's an ugly sight. It's uglier than seeing me naked, I'll tell you. That's how bad it is. Apart from that, I have had doctors' appointments this week and rehab, so it's taken me away from working on this. The good news is I am going to be going for an operation. The bad news is I've got to wait for a little bit longer. I wouldn't know a lot about naked roots. So, well, maybe Anthony. Good news is the operation has been approved. The downside is it ain't going to happen until February next year, so I've got to grin and bear it unless it gets really bad. Then the doctor will squeeze me in somewhere. Yeah, well, you haven't had the opportunity to see him with no clothes on, Steve. So no, you won't get that opportunity either. Not on here. Um. So yeah. Whatever it started. And someone's got to start something, Jim. Um. So anyway, I suppose we might as well take the gloves off now.
Yeah, you know all about naked kangaroos
So
for
what does he
sure.
do?
You still owe me 8 months of child support, you bastard. And I ain't
8 months. Well, you got to have to keep waiting.
a outfit for you again. You sicko.
Well, you know, there's no such thing as child support from where you come from. You got to fend for yourself. G'day, Anthony. How are you, champion?
I'm okay. Not really, but I'm okay.
Yeah, well, let's let off some steam, hey? Jean Ricard, how are you? Yeah, I really was hoping to go out and do the oh, good, Randall. I'm just going to see how the Wi-Fi is going at the moment because I had to switch modems, so I've got a new modem here, and the Wi-Fi at the moment seems to be working all right. So we'll see how we go, and I'll give you a couple of people up on the chat a bit later on. So I didn't really do much on the layout because one, I was waiting for a parcel, and in between all things, my biggest thing this week, I've just been so tired. I mean, with the pain and everything else, I mean, I'm up for a little bit, and then all I want to do is just go to sleep. Have I lost the mojo? No, not really. There's just something not right. I think just all the stress and everything else that's been getting to me. I had time to myself, and it just sort of like I've just gone in a lazy state, which is not normally me. I'm a little bit better now. So, yeah, we're sorry about the bad news here hearing about from you as well, Anthony. As you recall, we didn't make any jokes about it, and we don't. Our thoughts and sympathy goes towards you.
Well, you know, it's again, I've already had to watch 3 close friends die, Joyce's brother die, and now my last close friend. There was a group of us that have been together for 30 years, and I'm left. Everybody's gone. Well, he's not gone yet, but it's only a matter of days or weeks.
Yeah, it gets so daunting, especially as we get on with age. I mean, it does get daunting. Like there is, and the group of people that I
And
was
people
good
say
friends
that, well, you know, it happens. And, you know, it's one thing. Yeah, I'm 58, almost 59. And, you know, okay, people you graduated school with, but I don't think even somebody at 70 says, oh, look, everybody else from this picture last year is gone.
Mm.
You know, outside maybe the military. But, you know.
Yeah,
Anyway, I don't want to be too much of a gray cloud. I don't know how long I'll stay on, but maybe I'll find something to laugh about.
Okay. You can see the clown sitting next to you. Oh, hang on. Where is it? Oh, that's right. The nose ran away. The nose ran away with the clown. Yeah, so one thing I was waiting for is a package from China from one of Heath's suppliers for lights and that, and it finally came. So I can finish off the rain house. I already unwrapped it to make sure it was in there. I just want to have a look at some of the signals because, as you know, I'm doing signaling on my layout. So I'm going to.
Uh-oh.
Okay, what happened then? Oh, I hit the wrong button.
There you go.
Come on. Something's going astray here.
Something's gone Australia?
What's going on here?
That would make sense. I think that's a good line. Something's gone Australia. Means it's turned upside down and backwards.
Yeah, literally. Okay. All right, so what I've got was double-headed dwarf signals to go with my signaling system that I'm putting in, which is the Atlas one, and a single dwarf signal, which is going to go around the start of station platforms and small yards. But the biggest things I've been waiting for, and this is all Heath's fault, is the chandeliers or the lights to go in the roundhouse, because I want to try to keep it to an older theme with the lighting system inside and not doing it too bright, but have hanging lights down. And let me just get it out of the packet. Save me making them, because especially where my hands are, I've got these little ones to put inside the roundhouse. So
okay,
this coming week, when I find the box for the rest of the bits, like the pit for the roundhouse, because I didn't put the pits in yet. I'm going to put the pits in some little LED lighting inside it, and still going to work out how they're going. Well, they work on electricity, but I'm going to work out the option of how they'll come on. Will they come on when there's a train on there, or do a manual switching? Yeah, that producer, yeah, he's still got the learner plates on there. Steve, yeah, he's totally hopeless. This is the first fancy show he's putting on. So yeah, I've got these lights, so I can now finish doing the bottom layer. Yeah, hang on, let me fix this up. I can finish doing the bottom layer that's here now. And make it all do all the scenery here, and then I can concentrate going up the top. Hopefully, we're going to get the steel in by then as well, because I need the cross brace to go over the top. Now, I've been a bit of a bad boy this last 2 weeks. I have bought more trains. I don't know why, but I did. Well, I know why. I haven't opened these because these only just came in late last night. Another passable rolling stock, and I've got this. Not last night. It came on Friday. So I've got some more. These are actually Australian passenger cars, the platform cars. I got a good deal on this on eBay. I think I'm opening it right. But it's going to go towards the early, or instead of opening these boxes, I'll show you what I have got. If I've got them still out. No, I haven't. I guess I have. Basically, what I've got in the box. What I got in the box is 5 more of these.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. I've got 5 more of these in the box. This is one of the ones that I made, but that's what's in that box. I won't go to the unboxing right now. And I was also looking at some passenger cars for my big boy steam engine. Now, the big boy that I'm having run a mile out is basically It's not 47. It's not 4014. There's the one that's running at the moment. It's a different number. It's the one that sits on the hill at Omaha, or however you want to pronounce that bloody town. But I'm making a set of passenger cars to be a tourist train, and I managed to find a set that went on eBay on Friday night from the same supplier as that, and set of 6 Union Pacific cars. I didn't have the dome cars, so basically I had to bid for the whole 5, 6, but I ended up getting a good deal on it, and I think people were out and about on Friday night because the days are getting longer. And I managed to get their Riv Rossi cars. I managed to get 5 for $120 US. So that was a good bill. That was a bargain, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and I ended up getting some parts too. Excuse me, let me cough. Okay, let me have a look what's getting on in the chat. Yeah, we do have drop bears, yeah. They are. G'day, Serena. Junior, how are you? Nice to see you here. Welcome aboard. Okay, and what do we mean? Yeah, Steve. There's always got to be some joker. Is our passenger trains or the passenger cars have seats on the ceiling? In Sydney they do, and down here, yeah, sometimes, but not that often. Not all cars have got them. Maybe the new Chinese cars that they're trying to bring into the service might have the seats on the ceiling. G'day, Chris. How are you? From Govia. Nice to see you in here. Hope everybody enjoyed the stream that I did last week at Richard and Daniel's layout. I will be doing some more streams there later in the coming weeks or months from there. I might even do some recording. We are going to do something. We are going to try to recreate something with Boyo. Boyo, how are you? We are going to replicate the longest Indian Pacific train that went from Sydney across to Perth about 15 years ago and had over 30 odd carriages on it. And we're going to combine all our carriages together. There is a unofficial challenge of seeing the longest train operating. So I think I might dig out all my passenger cars that I've got and take it down to his layout, since he's got a decent sized layout and it's all flat, and see how we can accomplish that. G'day, Joe. How are you? Nice to see you in here. Welcome. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now, in the coming weeks, I am going to be playing. I'm just going to jump ahead. Everybody's still saying hi to each other. I am going to be playing around with some of the intros. I'm using the intros to pick out something that I'm going to stick to, especially for my live stream and my other videos that I do. I'm using this program on the computer at the moment on Windows 10 called Clip Champ. So I'm just playing around with that at the moment, experimenting. As most of you guys know, I've been having problems with my desktop. I found that it's a combination. Yeah, that's a lot of whining. Yeah, at least they're not going to be whining because there's not going to be that many Poms riding on that train. Sorry to the English viewers. It's a bit of a it's a bit of a joke between the English and the Australians. When you hear Jumbo land from London, the only thing that is here shut down is the engine, but the cabin's still whining. G'day, Dave. How are you, buddy? So yeah, I'm going to be playing around with some of the intros and just trying to put things together. Just try to spice it up a little bit. It's about time I did that. My sub count's going up. And I just want to improve the quality of my videos to a certain degree.
Well, you're at that age, Artie, where you do have to do some things differently to spice it up,
Yeah, well, tell me about it. Yeah, I know. You're lucky you don't have to spice up too much. You just got to follow the rules of the wife. But I am going to be doing another stop-start on the bottom layer now that the roundhouse is coming down, because I do have missing portion of it because the crew's coming here to demolish the roundhouse. Thanks to 187 for doing that. Yeah, give us a thumbs up. Might get me out a bit more. But yeah, okay, I'm going to send an intro.
Sean Ricard, why'd you delete that?
What did he do now? What did Sean Ricard? Did I miss out on his comment? Was he? Where is he? Oh, I must have missed it. Okay. All right, I've got broad shoulders. I can handle it. Okay, I'm going to put a link up in here. For anyone that wants to join in a bit of a chit chat and have a little bit of fun, you're more than welcome to join in. I welcome everybody on the channel. It doesn't matter. We don't judge here very often. I'm the one that gets judged by my co-host, but
I don't judge you. That trial's long been done. I don't judge you.
Hey, Rick, how are you? No, you don't. Okay.
Randall sighting.
Randall, let's see how he's going.
Hey guys.
Holy Jesus Christ. Hang on. Did everybody see that? It just we can see freckles on his face. Oh,
yeah,
boy.
Works good now.
Wow, what happened?
We got Wi-Fi now, Artie.
Oh.
Yeah, I switched from what used to be called CenturyLink, now Brightspeed, to the electric co-op's phone and internet service. They call it the NEXT service. So it's all through the electric co-op now. So and it's cheaper too. So win-win.
Oh. Yeah, they had a big upgrade where Randall lives, Artie. They moved to better connections. They moved up from string to yarn, so the tin cans are working.
You got it, Anthony. We're moving up the world. But yeah, and this is just the basic package. Is what I got. Same thing my brother's got, and his works really, really good too. So, yeah, I'm thrilled with the way everything works. So I can even go out and run trains on the front porch and not lose any signal.
There's nothing wrong with the basic package, Randall.
Yep.
Don't let any man or woman tell you differently.
I have no idea where that's going. I'm not sure I want to know where that's going, but yeah, we'll ride and die with that, Anthony.
As long as you get a good value on your basic package. G'day, Leo. How are you, buddy?
No, it's about 30 degrees outside, so it's probably getting a little too cold to run trains. But
well, when the wind doesn't blow, we're when the wind's not blowing, it's actually quite nice. But we're getting a lot, which is unusual this time of the year. We're getting a lot of cold air from the deep south, from Antarctica, deep south than here. And tell you what, it's making things wild. Over here last night, I thought there was a bomb being like a. I don't know if any of you guys been in the military when the cluster bombs and that get dropped, how loud and how it ricochets off when it gets dropped. I mean, it felt like it just got dropped over here by the shopping centre at the pub, and it just went all the way up towards the city of Wollongong in Sydney. G'day, SF. Ranton, how are you?
No, Steve, it's air. When it's not blowing, it's just air.
Yeah, that's right. It's just air moving. Yeah, and
No,
we've got 31 degrees up
if
there
the
at the
wind
moment.
isn't blowing, is it still wind? No, then it's just air.
That's right, yeah. We is up north of me, up the north coast. It's 31 degrees where he is. But down here, with the wind, that's 31 degrees Celsius. With the wind, it drops down to about 14 degrees. But as soon as that stops, it goes up to about 28. 28 is roughly about a high 80s.
80.
But the temperature with the wind drops down to about mid 60s. So it's a big range in temperature. And I wonder we had that big violent thunder this morning. I mean, it was. Oh, okay.
Well, I know when it decided to get cold, it got cold. About a week and a half ago, it was in the mid and upper 70s, and when that cold front come through, it plunged us down pretty good, and we haven't really recovered since. I think I looked on the weather app the other day, and it's showing around 60 by Wednesday. So we'll see how that goes. But
hello, James. How are you? But the what we're getting now is supposed to be here roughly about August. You know, end of July, August, and we're getting it now. So it's really thrown out. And what can we do? We just got to go with the flow, I suppose.
Yeah.
So now we are just talking about the weather forecast, because here in Denmark it's just around freezing point, and we got snow this evening. Just to inform you, so don't.
Well, you need snow up there, Santa Claus.
No, I don't. Not yet.
I'll tell you what. About let's see, 3 or 4 days ago. Well, no, about a week ago. I was coming back from Memphis, and about when I got to Portia, Arkansas, we hit snow, and it snowed really hard from there all the way up to there. So. That was a rather interesting trip coming back. So,
bye, Rayton. I'll take care over there, okay? Don't eat yellow snow. Yeah, it's not Mountain Dew. Okay. Yeah. Peyton and Ray fan, welcome to have you here.
Hey, Peyton.
I think it's one of the new subs. I do have a lot of new subs now, and welcome to everybody to the channel. If you guys are watching. There's too many to do the shout outs, but hello and welcome, and thank you for your support. Well, I think it was Wednesday, somebody's live stream where I popped into for a little bit. I think it would have been the Wednesday one. We actually basically had snow up on the highlands just south of Canberra. We had probably about 2 inches of snow, and it's a repeat of 2019 when we had snow up there. But now it's down the road. We had the big bushfires. So
now we actually had a typical November day here in Toledo. Joyce and I went outside about 9 o'clock to rake the leaves, and the wind decided to do it for us. So we didn't have to rake our leaves. The problem is Monday I'll have to go and rake my neighbor's leaves because they are all in my yard now. My leaves are way down the street, but somebody else's leaves are now in my yard because we had lots of wind today as well. God had
But
a lot of
no snow.
burritos. Mother Nature had a bunch of burritos this week.
Must have. Yeah, what was that, Sean?
No snow in Toledo.
We had
though.
just a little bit.
Okay.
And we're going to get a little bit more tonight. What we got the other day already melted away, and we're supposed to get about half an inch tonight.
Yeah.
We're still getting a lot of rain out west and down in the deep south. We're still getting a lot of rain down there. It's dried off
1.25 centimeters.
now. What's that? What's that in centimeters?
2 inches of snow is about 1.25 centimeters.
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Thomas,
I can't do math that quick.
Actually, 1. Yeah, 1.25. Right.
Yeah,
Don't doubt myself. I'm always right.
it's roughly about half.
I think the snow we got, it was just enough to cover it was just enough to cover 63 when I was coming back, 63 highway, by the way, and the ground. And in about 2.5 days, it was gone. So,
Now, the real question, Artie, is do we have any fans or subs here from Buffalo, New York, who got 70 inches of snow over the last 2 days? That's just under 6 feet. A big industrial city, Buffalo, 6 feet of snow, 70 inches.
Well, we know where that came from. They came from the Canadians. They had turned on a snow machine overnight and made sure that it was blown over into Buffalo off Niagara Falls. I know how it works out there. Yeah, g'day, Daryl. How are you, champion? Yeah, we know where that came from. It's the Canadians bombing the US. Wouldn't you agree?
Why didn't they go for Toledo then? It's just down from Canada as well.
Toledo, if you're in America, and I don't know if they use the term other places, but we have what's called lake effect snow. When these snow fronts or moisture fronts go over the Great Lakes, they pick up a ton of moisture. And if you live on the east or southeast side of the Great Lakes, like Cleveland, Pittsburgh, or Buffalo, you get dumped on with snow. Now, Toledo is right on the west end of Lake Erie. We're at the butt end of Lake Erie, and we get what's called reverse lake effect. Toledo is in a geological and emotional decline, but it's a geological decline. We're in a bit of a hole, and this causes weather patterns that are coming from the Lake Michigan, which is the biggest, well, not the biggest, second biggest Great Lake, coming from Lake Michigan. Like Chicago will get dumped on with snow because it's on the lake. But as that stuff comes over the Lake Michigan and picks up more moisture to dump on other parts of Ohio, it comes to Toledo, and there's just like this constant high pressure system on Toledo, and these storms will split in half. 10 miles north of us will get 6, 8, 10 inches of snow. 5 miles south of where Joyce and I live, we'll get 6, 8 inches of snow, and we'll get 2, or a dusting, or maybe none at all. Because all the we have snow days where they'll cancel the school because of snow, and all the farm districts and the suburb school districts are getting closed, and Toledo schools are open because we just didn't get any.
Yeah, Chris, for your information, yes, I have seen snow. And I have been in blizzards as well in Europe and in the United States. I've even camped up in the Grand Canyon when it snowed up there. We had about 3-4 feet of snow, and I pitched a tent outside and gone camping in it. I mean, yeah.
Well,
I'm crazy, but yeah, I have seen it.
This snow we've had early this last weekend. That's the earliest I've seen it snow in quite a few years.
Hey, Plumber. I'm not scared of it. I mean, I'm not scared of the snow. If it snows, it snows. If it rains, it rains. If you have a heat wave, we have a heat wave. You just gotta basically put up with it. There's nothing we can do about it. No use complaining about it. But it's just annoying when you got, like me, there are times when I need to go and do some work, and I've got to do my work outside. I can't go working outside because the weather is not on my side. G'day, Frank. Did I say hello to you? Probably not. Rude of me. Disgusting. I did see Plumber pop in. Hello.
Here, I'll pop this up. We can put it up for discussion.
What do you guys think about me streaming on 9 p.m. Fridays? Now, is that 9 p.m.?
Streaming. I thought it said streaking, and I was going to be totally against it.
Yeah, I'll streaming.
But then again,
what
fly your free flag, whatever works for you.
Yeah. Now, is that 9 p.m. US East Coast time? Because it's actually pretty quiet, man. Who else is about 9 o'clock? It's getting close to Vinny's time. Vinny's roughly about what? 10
Usually he goes on about 8, I think. 8 my time, 8 Central.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we need more of a time zone. It's not very good to just say 9 p.m. because as I read it, it would be at the same time as I see Anthony's show here in Denmark, which is 9 p.m. in the evening. But that's Danish time, so I need a clarification of the time zone there.
He's same time zone as me. So that would be 2 a.m. your time. No, that would be you're 6 hours ahead. So 3. That would be 3 a.m.
Yeah, I wouldn't be there.
Yeah, you'd be asleep. Maybe.
Or
out delivering presents.
Yeah, that's right, Wigwag. And he's streams right now. So he's on at 8 and goes till 9. So that's midday for me till about 1 o'clock at the moment. And then after Carolina, footy all day. How are you, mate? Nice to see you. Yeah, just one person we haven't seen for a while. If it's 9 p.m., Eastern Standard Time, I can't see why not, because there's not really that many people amongst our clan and group that normally stream on a Friday night. It's pretty quiet, actually. Give it a go. I mean, we're not gonna upset you, or well, it will upset you, but I mean in a good way. But I could do 7. I think there's someone else that actually knows Friday 7. Now, if you do 7, and that's getting close. Who's on at 7? Yeah, you can do 7 if you want, but if you go overtime,
you can do anytime you want.
Yeah. Just take
There's always somebody on somewhere, even in the train community now. There's enough people streaming that no matter what you're streaming. And then you have you have people that have scheduled, like Artie does 8 o'clock our time, Eastern US time. He does this every Saturday. You have Sidetrack Sunday every Sunday evening, US Eastern time at 8. There are people that have shows scheduled. And then you have the freelancers. People are like, I feel like going live right now. Click, I'm on.
Exactly.
I think picking a time is better to build an audience, obviously, rather than just randomly going on every day. Now, when COVID hit, oops, I said the C word. When it hit, there weren't, I think the number of model train people streaming has gone up by a power of 10. I'm not even saying tenfold. I'm saying exponentially by a power of 10.
Yeah.
In 2019, you could probably count the number of American people that live streamed, fairly easily. I mean, still there were a few dozen to a couple of hundred out there who were streaming, but bigger channels that were out there. Now there's, depending on who you're subscribed to, there's 20 on at any given time. I usually get notified of 3 or 4 live streams, and I actually try to be in them all. And then I follow the Germany, the UK, and the United States and Australia. So yeah, I'm constantly there's 3, 4 live streams, and it's just okay. I try to be in as many as I can at the same time, which leads to some bizarre comments.
Yeah. I think I did say hello to Roy. Yeah. G'day, Roy. How are you, buddy? Hope you got home safely. Well, with me too. Like, I do watch most of the American ones there that come on. I mean, we just create a good bond and friendship and whatnot. So I do have a look at the streams that's over from the US, but it's more suitable for me too because night times here, there's not really that many Australian live streamers,
right,
that I have found. Some of them are doing a little bit too erratically, like they don't have a set schedule when they come on.
It's all that Vegemite.
Well, see,
the other thing is they get too much in the same thing over and over again, and it ends up being political. And I don't want to talk about politics.
I have a wish. I have a wish for some of your more professional streamers, like you, Archie, or like you, Anthony. And that was
professional.
Yeah, you're professional. You.
I don't know.
Doing the streamings, But I would love to have on the walls behind you some clocks showing that your time is at this moment this. And then you have a clock beside it saying, and this is the time in Toledo, and this is the time in England, and this is the time in Europe.
Fine. We'll just start it off like the old American news shows in the 1970s and 80s.
Yeah.
It's 6 o'clock in Washington. It's 10 o'clock in London.
Yeah.
It's 11 o'clock in Berlin. In Baltimore, it's 6:42. Time for the 11 o'clock report.
The temperature is 31 degrees.
Now over to Lisa with sports.
Actually, it's funny. It's funny that you mentioned that,
And that's
John.
the way it was. Saturday, November 19th, 2022. I'm Walter.
I actually did have. I mean, this is way before my live stream, but because of the work that I was involved in here with transport and the aviation and whatnot, above my computer and above my work desk, I had 3 clocks.
Yeah.
Right. The middle clock was my time. 1 clock was on the US East Coast time. Then I had the first clock that was on UTC time, the Greenwich Mean Time.
Yeah.
And if I needed to work out what time of the day it is, I just have to go up and have a look and go, well, that's what time is it? Greenwich Mean Time or UTC time, and that's my time. We know what that is, but the US Eastern time. But it's just a bugger when you have daylight saving and yeah.
See, here my microwave has a clock on it, stove has a clock. There's 2 clocks in the living. Well, let's see. There's actually 3 clocks if you count the John Wayne clock that's hanging on the wall.
Okay.
Because we're professional. Because we're professional. This is what we're going to do. We'll have this up. We'll call it the Jean clock.
Yeah.
That has a nice ring to it, Anthony.
We'll call it the genre clock.
Genre clock. But you know what? You hang one of those clocks up the wall now.
Hey, Daryl.
the younger
There
generation
you
will
are.
get confused. They wouldn't know how to tell the time. Hey, Daryl, how are you, champion? Okay, now what is he going to try to do?
In Toledo, it's this time. And so, Jean Ricard, for you, it's this time.
I'm so happy that you get it, Anthony. I'm so happy.
Okay, Frank, if you're going, good night to you, champion. Thank you for coming. Yeah, the fun is here, but funny starting, but yeah, you have a good night. Look after yourself. Yeah, but at least John and most of the people here can tell the time on those old clocks. A lot of new ones can't tell the time on that. What's that?
I don't know. Does Jean Ricard really know how to tell the time on an old clock?
Yeah, of course I do.
But I reckon he can do one better than you there, Anthony. I reckon he can actually look at the sun and tell the time. He doesn't even need the sundial.
Well, yeah, he's that old.
You need the sundial.
He remembers the clocks and sundials. He had to make his dinosaur lay down to tell the time.
Of course, you need to be able to do stuff like that, especially when you have dinosaurs walking around in your backyard.
Now, the real question is, were the dinosaurs walking around in your backyard or were you walking around in their backyard?
They are walking around in my backyard. I was here first.
Yeah, and that's Jean Ricard. That's how Jean Ricard even got into music back then. He listened to the original T-Rex.
Yeah.
He saw the original T-Rex in concert.
That must have been a real rocking show back then.
Oh. Yeah, breathing smoke. He's breathing something in there, Roy. We don't know what he's breathing, but I don't want any of it. Yeah. And how you been, Daryl?
Hey, I made it. It's good.
So,
Yeah.
what was the surf like?
I wanted to say, Randall, you're looking good tonight, brother.
Yeah. New Wi-Fi.
Not quite. We got to play it now. Some of you may not know, but there's an old.
I can even show my engines now without having issues.
We can understand.
Sesame Street. No, wait. There's the old American educational show, Sesame Street. We got to do a slight variation. 4 of these things belong together. 4 of these things are quite the same. Can anybody pick out what is not fitting in here right now on this panel? I wonder what it could be. I wonder. Somebody didn't get the memo. What could it be? I wonder. Somebody is not fitting in here.
Okay, we'll just have to remove what's not fitting in, right, eh?
Let's hear the teacher. What is the right answer then, Mr. Dodd?
Well, Artie took himself out, and that did not fix the problem. I'm just waiting to see who guesses what's. Notice 3 of us are wearing glasses, 2 aren't, so it's not glasses. A couple of us are bald, 2 are not bald. 4 of us are wearing glasses. Well, you just put yours on.
I took mine off, and now I can't see anything. So
a couple of us are bald. Randall's not bald. Daryl's wearing a cap, so we'll never know. And Jean Ricard has an amazingly beautiful toupee on. So that's not the issue. So what is it?
That was Anthony Dodges said that, John Ricard. That was not me.
So what is the distinguishing factor here?
I'm lost. Couldn't tell you.
And I'm even dropping
those
already.
Oh, yeah.
I get it.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, you kept doing this.
He has to leave. He doesn't have a beard. Facial hair, dude. You gotta have facial
What's
hair.
up, Randall?
Randall,
you don't like hair
it's
anymore?
growing a little bit.
Hey,
so.
even Artie's girlfriends can get on.
He's so young. Let it be. He's so young.
I can't let my facial hair grow out because then my face breaks out. You don't want to see that. So
I have the
Well,
shred stuff.
let's wait get a full grown
that's
one.
what I have.
Then your face won't.
Right. So Daryl's
see
half
it.
and half. So we got 2.5 are bald and 2.5 aren't bald.
I start doing the Clint Eastwood fistful of dollars move where I'm sitting here scratching my chin all the time. So
that was a good one, Joe Rader. I was going to say that Daryl's the only one here running trains.
Wrong. You didn't see it go past?
There's
It's off screen now.
Okay.
Actually,
we're going for a ride. Yay.
All right. Okay.
And it's a freighter.
So there's 2 of us here. What's the other excuse?
I would have made it 3, but it's like 30 degrees outside, so it's a little bit on the chilly side to be running trains. So
hey, it's 30 degrees out here and I'm running trains.
Yeah, but Anthony, you got like heat in your basement. I don't. And mine's on the front porch, so that makes it worse.
But Archie, have you seen that that Anthony is actually running a container train? So
yeah, Plumber said the same thing. Running train.
The container will finally get to you.
Oh yeah, that whole business got delayed. A lot of things got delayed with when Joyce's brother died. A lot of things just got delayed, and other things came up, and then somebody else died, and then my friend Jim went into my friend John went into hospice. Jim died. John went into hospice.
Yeah,
and it's just been
stop, Anthony. Don't mention about all the people that you are getting in touch with that are dying. Because, frankly, I'm a little bit worried every time I hear you call somebody a friend.
Tell me about it. That's not joking. Tell me about it. I go to the UK and meet somebody I'd been calling a friend for 2 years from the internet. 2 months later, we get home and he's dead.
Yeah,
it went beyond a joke a while ago.
And you still want to meet me in Hamburg next summer?
Oh, definitely you.
Thank you very much. I'll order my coffin before I go to Hamburg then.
But I wasn't calling you friend, was I?
No, you have a point there.
You're Joyce's friend. You're not mine. Joyce likes you. It's the only reason I put up with you. Joyce likes you.
Yeah. You're lucky then, Sean. You're lucky. Me, in other words, if he comes to visit me, I don't know. But then again, he's probably going to do the locals a bit of favour. They'll probably go, yay, Artie's gone. We can go free for all again. Yeah. But yeah, it does go crazy. Like just before the show stop hit, I mean, I was having people over in the US that every year, instead of me going there for a holiday for a good time, I was going over there for funerals, and it just got way out of hand.
Well, let us look on it in this way. As long as we can see each other on screen here, we are somehow alive.
Well, yeah. I saw this poor old fella the other day up here at my local shopping centre, and I turned around and said it was at a tobacco store I went to, and this other guy, he totally had it mentally, and I said to the girl behind the counter, if you ever see me in that state, do me a favour, run me over. Here, I'll even give you a permission slip to let you do it, because there's no way in the world do I want to be in that state. One, I'm suffering, and that person that's got to look after me, he's dusting his toys there. JD,
dusting this engine off right here, so
because his camera shows off too much. His webcam shows off too much dust now.
Well, this engine's over 20 years old, or I've had it over 20 years already, so it's it sat out and collected a lot of dust, but it still runs good. So
Well,
I
it's
can't complain about that.
It's what you call naturally.
It's natural weathering.
Exactly.
So
I got one of my SD9s that is the same in some of the other trains.
speaking of which, I went to the hobby shop in Memphis, and they had 2 Santa Fe SD9s sitting in the display cabinet. I didn't buy either one of them, but it was pretty neat to see them.
I've got a dummy one here. So
these are both powered.
What's Sean Ricard doing?
That I was looking at.
I've got a dummy one up in the wardrobe.
And there was one engine I went. It wasn't there this time that I went, but it was about a month ago. The last time I went there, they had a Rock Island FP45, and I should have bought that sucker. This thing was in bankruptcy blue. I've never seen one before. And I should have bought that engine because they only had $20 on it.
Hi, Kyle.
Hey, Kyle, how are you? I literally have had to stop buying trains. Okay, I broke that little bit with buying some passenger cars and this last 2 weeks only because they were there and they were going for cheap. Just to finish off a set. But I got no more room. One, I'm running out of room to store them because initially they actually gave me a lot of it's going to be stored under the layout, but I can't store it anywhere at the moment. I'm just using the side spaces till the layout baseball gets done. But if I buy trains, I can't finish this, and I want to get the basic track work done. I'm going to be pushing for Christmas, but I want to get the basics done before I go and have my next operation because I know once I'm finished recover from the next operation, I'm back to work. I'm not going to have time to construct the layout. I'll have time to do my I'll have time to do my scenery. But I'm not going to have time to construct anymore, especially if I end up going back on the interstate. Like a lot of you people here will see how much time our friend Roy here gets time to spend on his layout. He's always on the road. And same with me. I might end up being back out on the road as well, doing the long haul. And I don't know what's going to happen to my regular show, but I know with my regular show, it's not going to be every Sunday. Or every Saturday your time, should I say. It won't be on every Saturday because I won't be within internet range. What layout? Exactly, Roy. What layout? You haven't got time to build one. That's where you go around to other people's places.
And
you could have come down here.
That's a lot of my problems too. I would like to stream at a regular time or what have you, but because my job is a constant moving target, I can't really set a definite time for anything. I basically just have to do, like you mentioned earlier, just pop up and go live whenever I have a chance. So,
isn't this a problem for all of us that still has a job? Actually, the only one that can lean back and take it easy is Anthony, because he can just sit there and make all the streams he wants and insult us all, and the rest of us just has to go to work.
Well, I was going to just say this, John. My job isn't really what you would call the typical 9-to-5 job. I could get called like right now. I got called at like 4:30 in the morning to go to or take a crew to Jonesboro. Well, that turned into taking 2 crews because I had to stop at Jonesboro, pick a second crew up off of a Tulsa Memphis train. Then I dropped the crew. The crew I originally took off at Bay, Arkansas, which is, if you're not familiar with how the Thayer sub works, Bay is the next town after you pass Jonesboro. It's like something like 5 miles out of Jonesboro or something like that, but it may not be quite that far, but that's just kind of a rough guesstimate. So I got took the original crew I hauled to that train, dropped them off. It was a Z train. Took the crew come off the Z train plus the Tulsa train crew to the hotel at Memphis, and then came back. And that trip at probably would have been just like a 4-hour trip turned into 11 and a half hours. So,
yeah, and of course, my live stream time was based on work.
Yeah,
I went Friday because through the week I couldn't work. Friday between when I would get home at 3:00 and go to bed was the one free time, because Joyce and I traditionally go out on Saturdays. It's always been a tradition of ours that Saturday night was ours. We go out to dinner, and nothing fancy, just hit the local diner or whatever. But we get out of the house and when the kids got older on our own. But so Friday was the one time where I had free time. Joyce doesn't get home until 5:30 from work, and so I went live. Now that I'm home, it worked out nicely because at the time I started, and still 55% of my viewers and subscribers are from the UK. And so it works for them because it's Friday evening for them. I've got friends on the West Coast who are like, I can't watch your live streams because I'm working. And even on the East Coast, most Americans are working.
Yeah.
yeah.
But it's clear that the more dependent you are on going out and earning some money and having a job to look at, the less possibilities you have to make a fixed scale for going on live stream, at least.
Oh yeah, I mean, if I hadn't had this job, I wouldn't have these.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
but that goes for all of us,
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
If you don't earn money, you cannot enjoy the leisures of life, of getting trains or whatever you prefer to do. So
and the thing is, I don't get into job competition. Everybody's job is valuable and needed. People make jokes about a Burger King flipper, but when you decided you wanted to hit Burger King because you were too busy or too lazy to make your own meal, you went to them. Okay.
Yep.
You went to them. They did it for you. And
that's right, Anthony. You're absolutely correct.
And so some people got crazy jobs, and I look at people like my dad was a journeyman electrician, but the last 30 years of his life he was a factory maintenance man, where he could get called he would supposed to be to work at 7:00, but he could get called at 2:00. Hey, get the boilers to the plant working. They're not firing up. We got this machine breaking down. Get in there and fix it up. And he would get called. And if my dad got called, guess who went in with him if I didn't have school or on the weekends working or what have you. And I went in with him. And it was always like, I'd never want to do that job. I teach. Some people think teaching's an easy job. Other people say, oh my God, I could never do that. So, plumbers here saying, hey, I get called at 2:00 to back up a sewer. Yeah. Who wants to do that? But it's the job you're trained to do, and you do your job the best you can do it. And jerk customers be damned. But of course, as the owner of a house, before you came to deal with my backed up sewer, I was dealing with my backed up sewer.
Well, and two, like with my job, a lot of people think, well, all you do is just sit there and drive a van. And it's a lot more than that, because you're basically on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And you basically have no idea what your trip is going to be. It may be, you may go out and I'll give an example. You may get called and it'll be a Thayer to Koshkonong, and that's a 16-mile round trip.
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking at 45 minutes max, depending on how long it takes the crew to come out and get in the van. 45 minutes to an hour, let's just say that. Okay. you may get called for that exact same trip, but then all of a sudden that turns into a Thayer to Springfield trip or Thayer to Memphis trip, depending on which direction the train's going.
Hey, Mister.
I mean, some of these trips get pretty wild.
But Rand, I need to ask you a question.
Go ahead, John.
When you do this job as a driver for the crews on the trains, are you then employed by the train companies, or are you freelancer, or how do they get you to do the trucking of the crews there?
See, John, this is kind of where it gets a little weird. Rail Crew Express is contracted with BNSF to basically haul their crews to their trains. So we're actually a separate entity that's contracted with the railroad. Where it gets odd is Rail Crew Express doesn't dispatch the trips. BNSF dispatches the trips. Okay.
Everybody behave. Teacher's back.
So when you get these trips, you really don't know exactly what that trip is going to consist of. And I was just getting ready to tell this. I got a call to assist the what we call the 101 local, which operates out of Jonesboro, Arkansas. In the trip readout in the bottom, they'll give you an allotted assist time on the bottom. It'll say assist time like 3 hours. Okay, you look up in the notes and it'll say 12 hours. So it's literally giving you two different kinds of assist times. So, and you ask the crew, said, what's this going to be? And they say, no, you're going to be with us all day. It's going to be the 12-hour one. So they'll put 3 hours in the approved assist, but then in the comments they'll say 12 hours.
Okay.
So, and that's just an example, by the way. So
it's just that how do they pay you? They pay you by the hour?
Yeah, it's by the hour.
But I think if they say we only need you for 3 hours for assist time, 3 hours, and it ends up with 12 hours assist time, I assume that you get paid for all 12 hours.
Right. You get paid for all. Here's the thing. Your pay starts the minute you hit begin trip on the app. Yeah. And it ends when you hit end trip and go on rest.
Okay.
So that includes when you do your pre-trip inspection all the way to when you back the van back into the parking lot at the depot and hit end trip on your app. So it includes the drive time getting to the destination and the return from the destination after you drop the crew off to back to the depot and everything in between. So the only thing you don't really get paid for is when you go on a driver break. So I try to keep my driver breaks to under 30 minutes. So
30 minutes is a decent break. I'm just hoping at the end of the day that I'll be able to go back to the duties I used to do before my wreck. I'm really hoping I will, because then I can continue doing one thing to become a regular thing in my life, and that's doing this live stream, and I'll be able to spend more time at home. But it's still a long shot between now and, well, we're forecasting April next year. Mm-hmm. End of April, May next year is when I'm going to be going back to it. So, in some ways, it's a godsend that I am on sick leave or injury leave or workers' comp leave, whichever way you want to put it. Because of all the bad weather we've been having here, mm-hmm. there are a lot of jobs that actually came to a standstill. have a look. If I didn't have enough roadworks to do here, I would have ran away out west in the outback and transported some grain or worked on the preparing for the cotton harvest or something like that. But we've lost, within my state, we've lost all our grain. We lost about nearly 70% of our stock. The cotton farmers that actually planted the cotton, which is due for harvesting after Christmas, about 50% of that, it's all gone from out the water and rain and flooding that we've had inland. So there's nothing to fall back on. Odie, got a question. Made a question. Okay, start from the first question, Mystic. I don't know if I can answer it all because I'm not that intelligent. But yeah, I'd like to get back to it. I mean, my electric mice are suffering from it. That's right. Cotton is under 2 meters of water at the moment. I mean, they usually irrigate and let it just catch, but I mean, that's what I've heard from some of the farmers out west. It's not so much the flooding water, it's the actual current that's going along with it that's actually taking everything up. But in Australia, they have road trains. Yes, I'm a road train driver myself, Mystic. I might actually have. I'll see if there's any pictures here that I've got of what I used to drive. Yeah, I've been a road train driver for many, many years. I don't know, for the last nearly 25 years. I just want to see if there's any photos of.
Yeah, Artie is a road train driver, and he actually was the first road train driver. He started in the railway industry and derailed, and he just kept going anyhow. And they said, "Hey, that's an idea. We'll just do road training."
I'm not that bloody old. I'm not that bloody old.
Hey, George is here. How are you, George?
Hey, George.
We all started somewhere, Anthony. I'm by profession, I'm a bus driver, and I have been working as such since I was 21. So I have been doing it 37 years now. And some of my friends say that I started with a horse and carriage, like a stagecoach. So.
And you tell them they're wrong. You started with a sleigh, right, Sam?
Yeah.
Hey, you started before they invented the wheel, Sean.
Yeah.
So that makes you older than him.
Exactly. In some ways, yes. I started in a vehicle like Fred Flintstone, with the feet on the ground.
Ah, right. Yes.
Shut up and get on the back of the brontosaurus. We're moving.
So you started just as they invented the wheel. Okay. Yes, Jim. Pulling 2 trailers or triples, they're still classified as road trains here. We do have, multiple stage coaches. Yeah, we've done that. We've done that too.
I don't care if there's a T-Rex behind us. You shouldn't have sat on the back.
I'm just trying to. Just bear with me.
Just because I'm honest, then I'm making a joke of, a fun of. That's not very nice, Anthony.
And this is only hitting you now?
Oh, where are they? So this is what I don't like about.
I can go and pull up copies of your commentary over the last year and a half of live streams, dude.
Yeah, but all those comments were well deserved.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Kettle, meat pot.
Yeah. Since you drive buses, John, I got to ask you this question. Have you had any really crazy experiences with drivers that, let's just say, like to put the pedal to the metal constantly?
That's me.
That's you.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah, down there.
I used to. One of the favorite stories I have was I was going in the second largest town of Denmark in called Aarhus, and I was on a route that had very few stops, and I was doing 50 kilometers, 60 kilometers an hour, and I could see further away and saw that there was no passengers on the next stop. And I was coming there, and after the stop, there was a red light signal, and there was an Audi and a BMW in the inner lane. So since I wasn't going to stop at the stop, I just took the outer lane and passed them. And the light turned green as I came to the line. So I passed those two rather fancy cars there, and they didn't like it. So they tried to keep the bus on the outer lane by accelerating besides me. And I had an old bus that could pretty well, so I just kept on going because they didn't know that there was a few kilometers to the next stop. And we were continuing out of this road, and the lights came on green, green, green as we approached them. And all of a sudden, those two cars slowed down. And then I, of course, went into the right lane where I rightfully should be. And when I did that, then behind me there was a police car, and it pulled up alongside me. And I looked down at the police officer in the car, and the police officer said, "Slow down," with the hand, "slow down." And I nodded, and then he passed me, and we just continued. So sometimes you are lucky.
So I'll tell you these two quick stories right quick. One of them, my dad told me about, and the other one happened to me personally. So the one my dad told me this was about my great uncle. My great uncle had just bought a brand new Chevrolet pickup.
Yeah.
And he was going down the road. This was a long time ago, way before I was born. So, yeah. So he bought this new Chevy pickup, and he's going down the road. Said directly, here come this old beat up truck. Said the fenders were flopping on it and everything else past him. And I guess the way I understood the story was my uncle got down on it, passed the truck back, drove away from him, and he said he looked in his rearview mirror and said he saw that truck pull off alongside the road, and the driver got out, crawled under his truck, and did something to it. But he didn't know what he was doing, so he just kept on driving. Said directly, he looked in his mirror and he said, "Here come this same truck coming right behind him." Yeah. And said he pulled up alongside him. They ran side by side, and my uncle looked over at the old man that was driving that truck, and he nodded his head, saying that was all he had, and said when that old man got down that old truck, said it sounded like all the chickens went wild in the chicken coop. And said he just drove off and left him.
Good night, plumber.
Yeah. And so good night, plumber. My uncle saw him sitting at saw the guy in that truck sitting at a filling station. He pulled in there, and he got talking to him. And he said that old man looked at him, told him, said, "Son, don't feel bad about getting outrun." Said, "I got more in this motor than you got in your whole truck." So, and the story that happened to me, and Anthony will appreciate this, I guess, depending on how you look at it. I was hauling a crew to Memphis, and we was actually in Memphis, just not too far away from the hotel. And I was just kind of driving along, just kind of minding my own business. And all of a sudden, I just kind of look out the corner of my eye in the rearview mirror, and I see this car coming beside me. I mean, he's coming in a hurry. And all of a sudden, they're just like, whoa. Yeah. He went by us so fast it moved the van. It was some guy in a Dodge Charger, a newer one. See, I told you Anthony will appreciate that. So I was running 60. This cat must have been doing at least double that when he went by us. Because I kid you not, when he went by us, it actually moved the van over to the right. So
what were you doing there?
I was delivering a crew to the hotel at Memphis.
Oh, yeah. I know
what you were
doing, but I'm asking what Anthony was doing there.
Oh.
Having a pleasure cruise.
Okay.
That must have been one heck of a pleasure cruise, Anthony, because, man, that was
Dodge Charger.
That cat was flying.
Dodge Charger isn't happy if it's not doing 90.
He was doing way faster than 90, Anthony.
It was a very happy Charger.
I think one of them guys that was riding with me said that cat must have been doing 160 mile an hour.
But have you ever come out from a break, and went into your truck or your van, and then been applauded by the people waiting for you to drive the thing? Randall?
No.
I have. Once I was coming out to my bus and I went in through the passenger door to go to the front seat where I should sit, and there was this man sitting and he started applauding, and I was kind of curious, so I asked him, why are you applauding? And then he looked at me and he said, well, you're the only bus driver where we know with guarantee that we are on schedule at the other end of the line. So, yeah. A job shouldn't take longer than it's scheduled for.
Okay. I'm gonna do something here now.
Should we avert our eyes?
No, should we? Right?
Hang on. I'll do this right quick, so I can't see.
Okay. Hang on.
All right, Artie, I'm ready. What are you gonna do?
No, hang on. Randall wants to show off with his cleaning work first.
It's nice and shiny now, Artie. Just like a real BN engine should be.
No,
not like the torched ones we have now.
Oh, that's
is that a Prado?
Controversial fight.
That is an Athearn Blue Box, Artie.
Oh, okay. Like a locomotive.
Yeah, it is. I remember
you just said it was a blue box.
Well, the reason why they call them blue box, and
I know they call them a blue box. Sorry.
They call them that because the Athearn boxes that these came in were blue. So,
right.
Except for the top, which had the artwork.
I'm not completely.
So,
don't worry, Roy. I haven't got StreamYard on my phone, so there's no chance of that being kicked off at the moment. My thick bum won't hit the wrong button. Okay.
That's the phone the police let them have.
Yeah. Poor artist. Yeah. You'd be grateful for that, Mystic. Right. Okay. Now, I'm going to show. I found the photos of the road trains that I've driven.
I will say this, John. Where I work at, you do hear some really interesting stories. A lot of which I can't tell here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you could just once.
How many, Archie? How many trailers are you allowed to build on a road train?
Okay. In Central Australia, look, in the picture that you see now, that's pretty much your maximum length. You can have different combinations. I believe one of the combinations now allows you an extra 20 feet. But your general length, what you see there, that's what 40, 50, 100, 150, about 180 feet long from front to back. Now,
Okay.
in this combination here, you're looking at 110 tons. The newer combinations that we have out there now is they get hitting it basically, they get hitting a 200 to 250 ton mark. In my state here, where I am, on the other side of the mountains, we have a maximum length of 2 trailers.
Good night, James.
Right, James. And I'll see if I can get. Okay. Why can't? Oh, okay. This is what you'll see a common as along the east coast here, with 2 trailers. They're the most common ones that you see. But this is up far north of the country. I can't see the chats. Here's two of my old Fords at an assembly area outside of Perth, heading back out towards the east coast. So what this area is, this is where they assemble the road trains and deassemble, break the road trains down so they can go run into Perth. Because you had a maximum length and how many trailers you can go. Now, the truck on the right, which is the B double, that can go into Perth. But the one that's on the left, that's got a normal 2 48-foot trailers, that cannot go into Perth with 2 48-foot trailers. That's your B double. They can pretty much go anywhere. They're a common sight everywhere. Now, I was one of the first in this country to drive one of these combinations on the interstate.
Hi, Sparky.
Yeah.
Real quick, I saw Mystic's comment, asked me if I was a 74 Dodge Charger that passed me. No, Mystic, that was a whole lot newer Charger than that.
I was asking about it being a Coronet because he still likes to rip me and say Coronets are faster than Chargers.
I would say this was like a 2012 or 2013, maybe newer than that. So
the cop Coronets are faster.
Bernard, the B double that you see now in the picture, I was in Brisbane one time and I was forced to parallel park in this combination because there was no way I could get in the parking spot. So I had to do a parallel parking, and I had to get a logbook. And there was a truck waiting behind me, and there was a guy going for his driving test. But the examiner, when he saw me doing a parallel park and a B double, he says, I've never seen one being done before. And he says, no, I can see it can be done. And he says that's the best one he ever seen. Yeah, you can do it in a B double. The road train is a little bit harder. G'day, Sparky. How are you?
Hey, Sparky.
Hey, Sparky.
But they are fun to drive. Now this is with a stupid ruling. If Roy's still here, he can understand where I'm coming from. In many states, it's different regulations. Now, this is in the central state of South Australia, or Central Australia, or South Australia. Because this prime mover did not have a permit to be hooked up like this in a B double configuration, I had to hook it up as a road train. to run across, and I didn't have a spare trailer on the end, but they weren't legal at the time to have a normal 48-foot and a B-double combination. They weren't legal back then. This was taken in 95, 96, I think. But eventually, when I got into West Australia, I was able to hook them up as a B-double. Mainly because the bearings hooked in the what we call the dolly, which actually hooks up the makes the road train classification. Yeah, 23, way over 23 meters. Yes, that's right. This is actually a nulla board. It's approximately the halfway point between Sydney and Perth. In this area, yeah, roughly in the middle.
It seems like you have an awful lot of road space around you.
This is actually an rest stop.
Okay.
This is a rest stop. This is actually a roadhouse.
Yeah.
From behind where I'm taking the photo is actually we actually have the Great Australian Bight, which is roughly about 100-foot drop to the water.
Okay.
Yeah, Kyle, that probably will be if you're born around about that time. Now here's the max that I had. The blue and white one done spat some bolts and whatnot out of the air compressor and the oil pump. This was set up to do the cotton out west, out towards the middle of this state. So this is a common combination of road trains that you see in my state with two trailers. And that's in the parking bay too. There you go. That's your cotton load up with cotton on the road train. Now this is, you've got irrigated cotton and dry cotton. This cotton that I'm transporting here, this is irrigated cotton. And that's not far from where the other photo was taken either. And of course, then we've got our tip over axles, 22 wheelers, which is a common standard for trucks around here. This is at the coal loader. I don't know if you guys remember when I done the tour around the steelworks and got to the gate to go in the coal loader, and we couldn't go inside. This is what it looks like up in there where the coal trucks come in to unload. You basically go up over the hill, and there are deep hoppers down underneath here where obviously it holds the coal and then goes and convey it onto the stockpile. That's an MM Beach when I got the new trailer. Or spick and span, not long after we had the cross convoy. Now this photo here was taken from where you seen that last shot where the truck was tipping the coal. This is down in the gully, and behind the tree line there is the rail receiver where the coal trains come in and unload. You just see the roof lining above the trees there. Now, on the other side of that, you had the sewer works.
What kind of equipment do you have in the cabin when you are? It seems like a rather large cabin. Do you have like a kitchen there, or I assume you have a bunk there, but can you and how is
in
the interior of the cab?
Okay, we're restricted with space here with our trucks here in Australia, so pretty much in these ones here, we've only got the bed inside. in the ones in the Ford that I showed, they actually were equipped with 2 beds in it.
Okay.
Because with those jobs, I always do an express going across to Perth. So what would happen? Each driver would have a bunk,
Yeah.
and that's what they sleep in. While one is driving, one would be sleeping. Then they change over, and they'll sleep in their bunk and whatnot. So those ones were designed with two bunks. If the truck was broken down on the side of the road or held up, both drivers can rest at the same time. They don't have to
Share.
they don't have to snuggle up together on the one bed.
But
Because you would have been a long time ago. I mean, I know you said you were from down Wollongong, from down my way. I mean, these shots were taken, I think, about 2010. I think it's when this shot was taken. We still had access to get in the coal load area. Here's one of the Western Stars I had in one of my properties. That was continuously pretty much running non-stop between here and Perth.
Can I ask a question, Artie?
Hey?
You just did.
Well, I mean, those Western Stars, are they like your guys' version of Kenworth, or what brand are
No,
those?
no. They are actually Western Stars.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. They are pretty much everything that you see there is in the Western Stars assembled here in Australia. We have a slightly different, more stringent braking system with our trucks. So when they actually come here, you'll only see the front axle, and the rear drivetrain's not included. So they'll actually, what do you call it? They assemble as to a customer's requirements. Final question: what do you like better, trains or trucks?
Wait for my answer. Artie, I answered the question for you. Just keep talking.
Oh. Thank you. Yeah, good. Yeah, thanks. You answered my question. Yeah. Okay. That red one there, that's an old S2 Kenworth. That was a 74 model S2 Kenworth. I bought that little unit. It had a 671 Detroit, and it had a power assisted steering, not your normal power steering you have these days. It actually had a piston.
Yeah, this picture here, Artie, this picture you're showing here, this is how they got you into the truck in the morning for you to take off, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. That's how they used to get me up there. One bucket on that. Oh hell no, Sparky. Oh hell no. No, one bucket is for wusses. This thing took 2.5 of these. It wasn't legal weight, but yeah, she'd pull this whole thing pulled nearly 2.5 buckets of them. And that's that granulated slag sand that comes out of the blast furnace. Now this stuff was stockpiled and scrapped, but they used it as fill in one of the subdivisions. And this is before they discovered that they could actually turn this stuff into cement. We can actually, we US in here can actually vouch for the things that we used to do in the steel mill here, Sparky. I mean, we rarely loaded things to its legal weight. This was the only place, well, particularly at the time when I started driving, when we used to fill them up till they were full and off we go. And that's when I used to be in my younger days. And across the road, we had the Juvenile Justice Centre, where I actually met Anthony. He was going in there in the back of a police car.
I know the Boy Scout. Yeah, he had to make his report on what you did, and I was there as a counselor.
Oh, is that right? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And that's in front of Mum and Dad's place when I first bought it, or spick and span and whatnot. I haven't been there for.
And I have a witness.
Oh, you do you? What, the German Shepherd that fell asleep while keeping guard? Yeah, that's another story.
Artie, you mentioned something about special brakes. What do they do to make sure that you can actually brake a truck with a heavy load like that?
It's not special brakes. It's the setup is just it works the same principle as the American one, but we have an added safety feature to our braking systems. The diameter of the braking hoses and the
whoa, truck, whoa! When I say whoa, I mean whoa.
Yeah.
That's special brakes.
Yeah.
This is already your one without first load.
And that's an old photo because you can't. All those trees and gardens gone there. Now our braking system works the same way, but I know the braking requirements in the chambers and the booster size and that is a little bit different to what they are in the US. Well,
I got to log off, Artie. I got to take off.
Okay, champ.
All right, take care, Anthony.
Thank you very much.
Anthony.
Everybody take care. See you, whomever, wherever.
Well,
Good night,
we'll
Anthony.
see you, buddy. Take care. Thank you, mate. Bernard, is that a tractor or an auto car? Well, we just call them prime movers here. But when you're away and you haven't got a car, well, it does become a auto car. So you basically drive around, do your shopping and whatnot in something like this, in this configuration. This was a really good truck, and I'll tell you what, my heart broke when this idiot backed into it when he woke up from sleep. Now, this is how you dodge the parking inspectors. You park your truck in your front of your house. So we have a time limit where you can only park the truck out in the street in a residential street for no more than an hour, and this is a residential street. Anything more than an hour, you can get booked. So for me to get away with the parking ticket, I back the truck in a jackknife configuration like that because the truck's in my property, and they can't give me a parking ticket.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah, the memories. Yeah. Well, this area here, I don't know what year you left here, but this is up the top of Unindera, and that's your Keelung Centre. Here. Now, all that there where the trees are, that's all gone. There's all houses there. In the far distance on that green slope, there's houses up there too now. Go up there now, you won't even recognize it. Well, we had to come up with an idea, but that idea came for me to park my truck like this, came from my other neighbor that is like he was a retired high patrol commander. Okay. There was only one neighbor that complained in this photo here, and I didn't think it was him. I actually thought it was my ex because it wasn't that far long ago me and my ex split up. But I found out the guy that lives on the right, he was complaining to the police. It was the night before I washed the truck, I ended up receiving a ticket. He was complaining about noise. Now, the house that you see on the left of this picture, this guy, when he turned up that I was a complaint about my truck being noisy, he says, well, I would complain about the red truck. It's too quiet. Now, that yellow Mac had, I was doing more work then, boy. He complained that I wasn't bringing the yellow truck that had the old air start. They were noisy. Because he used to not worry about setting up the alarm clock to go to work. As soon as I kicked that truck over, it's like, well, it's time for me to get up and get ready for work. But this little Kenworth here, it was almost as quiet as a car. She wasn't that noisy at all. Yeah, there are noisy trucks. It's like with cars, you put sports exhausts on them, and of course they'll get noisy. Yeah, I was thin. I did have a little bit of a gut. Let's see if I can zoom in. Not too much. I did have a little bit of gut, but I was always working. Except in the cab. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right. Except in the cab. Those are the only photos I've got here at the moment of the trucks that I used to drive and own. I do miss it. I was asking, do I prefer trains or trucks? In some ways, Anthony answered the question. I prefer my truck over my train. One, I can go anywhere with a road train or a truck. I can stop wherever I want. And you have more fun. Driving today is not as fun as what it used to be when I first started in mid to late 80s. I mean, we used to have games with a high patrol or whatnot. It was like a game of cat and mouse. And to get away with a ticket, you used to have to know how to play the game. If you didn't play the game right, then you get caught. Nowadays, everything is way. Oh, what's the word?
Everything is so regulated. You have to have.
It's overregulated. It's overregulated.
Yeah.
It's nowadays they're actually forcing you to go to work when you're normally sleeping. Right? And then they want you to go to sleep when you're normally working. It doesn't work like that. Back when I was driving, it was like you get in the truck, you start driving, and you stop when you're tired. You wake up when you're rested and keep going. But nowadays, it's like, no, you're going to do what we tell you to do. We're professionals. This is that we know what you need to be doing. No, it's not the job as what it used to be. No, that's right. That's why I prefer to do my local duties. Doing my local work, it's not too bad. If I can't do that, I'm going way out through the outback out there because there are some parts there. The only way to run or drive out there is to go the old school way. Because that's the only way you're going to survive. You can't do the modern East Coast running out in the centre of Australia. Yeah, it was a lot of long hours, and it took us a lot away from home. Like with me spending a lot of time in the top end, and spending a lot of time at the top end. We used to have to beat the wet season. So if you guys ever watched Ice Road the truckers and whatnot, they were beating the ice. We were doing the other way around. We were trying to beat the rain from coming in the race from coming muddy, impassable, because you've got mines and that they need to be serviced. And Aboriginal communities. How much traffic back in that day, Artie? Because now most truckers hate the traffic on highways. Okay. The East Coast car traffic has exploded, and there's a lot of nutcases about. And then we've been getting a lot of imported foreign drivers from India and Pakistan, and are making our roads a lot more dangerous. Out in the outback, in heavy vehicle traffic, the BWs have reduced the numbers. Now we've got these pocket trains, which is basically a road train with a shorter drawbar. But when I go up west, there's not that many trucks as what there used to be. I would say there's only about a third about the number of trucks out there now than what we used to have. Yes, there is freight on the rail, but in the railing, sometimes you can see even the rail is struggling. There's not really that much freight being moved across the country. The B quads, yes, yeah, they're the big ones. Les, okay, Les is no, we've got it now. The reason why there's not that much freight going across the country anymore is, as we all know, everything comes from China. So instead of all coming into Sydney, Perth has got a port. Sydney's got a port. Melbourne, all the capital cities got a port all around the capital city. So trains that are the ships that are coming in are going directly to the main capital city. A lot of factories are closed in between cities, so there's not much being transported in between the countries. If I didn't say hello again, Rick's Railroad.
Archie, I'll just say it's quite late here in Denmark, so I'll be.
It's early in the morning.
So
it's early in the morning at Denmark.
Yeah, it's 4:00 in the morning, so I think I should catch some sleep. So thank you very much for a nice stream.
Thank you very much for coming on board, Sean. It's always welcome.
Good night, John.
See you, John.
Yeah.
It's good seeing you.
Yeah, okay, nice seeing you. Les, SCT and Inland Rail even taking freight off coastal shipping. Les, yes, they have got their trains going across, but the way the system's working, and I know a couple of guys that do work on railroads, they are saying that even the freight on the rail is suffering, especially going across the paddock. We call it the paddock going out to Perth. It is suffering. The Sydney Melbourne Pacific National train. G'day. Good night, Thomas. The way there's trains that are actually going across, only half of them got containers on them. Basically, the way the Pacific National worked, they would make a set of, say, argument's sake, a 50-car train for 50 lots of containers, and that remains in that set. Now, that whole train will go with its 50 cars, regardless of how many containers it had on it. And to the number of containers that you see, it would start getting smaller, and smaller. Yeah, it did take a lot of stuff, Les, off the ships, because the ships were taking too long to get to Perth. from the East Coast. What do Roo women look like? You're gonna have to come over and have a look for yourself. But I would advise you, you're gonna need to get some wine into you or a couple of beers or whatnot, and before you go out and meet one, because that's the only way that some of those Roo women will look actually attractive.
I'm sorry, Artie. I don't know what part of town you're in picking up chicks, but that ain't my side of town.
Hey, look, if you're lucky, Dwight, there's a couple of towns there. If you take a flagon of wine in there and $20 bill, you can have all the girls, the whole girl of the township to yourself.
Okay, maybe over here in Pomona, maybe parts of Montclair and Ontario here, but yeah, I don't hang out in those parts.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm referring to there, Daryl. Yeah, it is a hard life, but I mean, it takes a lot to get used to it. I enjoyed it. Yeah, 2-3 months of the time I'm away from home, but when I do come back home, the money was good. I was reasonably set up for my future. No, they don't get too many of them out there, Whitewall. You don't get too many of them out there. They're very rare and very endangered out there. Go to a place up here in Sydney called King's Cross or Newtown, actually more Darlinghurst. There's a bigger opportunity you're going to find them. Down here, you don't see that many. Yeah. I mean, everybody's got their love and hate in the jobs that they do, and I actually enjoyed it. It's given me a roof over my head. It helped me travel. It paid for my hobby to a certain degree. Okay, like some of us do have misfortunes. I had a few misfortunes with the wrong women. They took the advantage, so I end up losing a lot. So I've got to start again.
Mystic. Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah. I don't know. Spugg's like, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, you can see him standing on the corner of let's see, probably either Mission or Town off of Holt. Yeah, most definitely.
Well, over here we got my local area is Wentworth Street, and they've cleaned that up surprisingly.
Yeah, West Hollywood as well.
West Hollywood and Hollywood North. Yeah, that's got out of hand over there. It was just starting to pick up when I was living up in Hollywood North. They're near the Paramount Studios. It was bad. What was I saying? Yeah, Port Kembla down here. Yeah, they cleaned that up, but it got so bad up here that even the coppers were dressing up and they were trying to hit you up by fueling up. They come to try to hit you up. You want a good time? Oh, yeah, I'll have a good time. But I've got to go to work. And
hey, well, I had a good one today. I actually filmed a stack train today. Woohoo!
You filled it. You put some weight in it.
It was pretty long too.
Is that what we're hearing?
It had 4 UPs on point, and it had 2 UPs in the middle, and it had 1 on the rear end. Man, that sucker was long.
And so we are actually starting to love stack trains. Mystic over here, I don't know if Les has heard of it. did try to experiment with doing triple stacks going across to Perth. The first triple stack failed because I forgot about this one particular bridge. It didn't go underneath it. So now they're limited to the height of the triple stack, and they did give it a go to go across to Perth. But to assemble it, there's too much double handling with it, and it was a mess. It was a mess. They had a couple of attempts at it, but when the customers turned around and said, no, it's going to take too long, they scrapped the idea.
No, Sparky, that is one of those deals when they come up to your truck, they go, hey, you want to have a good time? And I go, yeah, sure. You got change for $1?
Well, yeah, this one particular time I was like, yeah, I'd have a good time, but I ain't paying for it. And you better put those handcuffs away too. She goes, I haven't got any handcuffs. I go, yeah. Yeah, that black car over there. You're driving around. Your car is too fancy for one of the girls that work around here.
Yeah, some of the areas I travel in aren't the best. They're really not. I keep my doors locked and my windows up.
Oh, this was an undercover cop. This was an undercover cop dressed up as a call girl. Actually, sure was bad looking, but I was like, nah, look, I can see handcuffs from here. No, thank you. Les, I'd love to see that going down the Toowoomba Range. I would love to see that I'd love to see him have a runaway with it down the Toowoomba Range. I mean, I've seen B doubles losing control coming down there. Yeah, no, it's a long way down to the bottom. I just wouldn't want to see that. Toowoomba Range is quite a big mountain, and there's not many stops between the top and the bottom. Not like Canton Pass up near you, Daryl. And the grade is actually pretty steep too.
Yeah. You guys don't do double stacks over there?
They're limited to how they do out of Melbourne down in the southern city.
And yeah, because I don't see it in Europe either. I don't see double stacks.
There is a dedicated freight line out of Victoria now, out of Melbourne, where they do the double stacks, and from a city called Adelaide, which is in the South Australia, from Adelaide to Perth and Adelaide to Darwin, which is going right at the top end, you will see the double stacks. Because there's no bridges and there's no tunnels and there's no height restrictions or anything like that. They can just go. Yes, but to have a double stack here, Rock, in my state, they won't fit underneath 90% of the bridges. They won't fit in our tunnels. Yeah, and that's the other thing. Yeah, you're right, Sparky. Like we have overhead wires up over the Blue Mountains, which is over the mountain range, down to my area and up to our sister city, Newcastle, in the north. We all got overhead wires, so that you're not going to fit those double stacks underneath them.
Yeah, Mystic, you're absolutely right. I saw that on the news. They actually arrested quite a few people who were robbing those stack trains down in LA.
Yeah, and good.
Yeah.
I remember when we were doing the track work to bring the electrification down to here, from Waterfall, from Sydney down to Wollongong, we actually had to drop the lines in the tunnels by Oh, it's up to 91, JD. Geez,
wow, JD.
They're done good at it, eh? Stolen property. I don't know how much time you get for that in California. Here you can get 5 years.
All right, Bernard C.
Take care, Bernard. Yeah, we had to drop the line in the tunnels by 5 feet. And some of the bridges we actually had to drop the line 5 feet so that the double decker trains in Sydney could fit in through our tunnels and bridges. There's only 2 bridges I had to actually remove totally and redo it. Bring back the caboose to run in the mix of double stacks.
Yeah, you're probably right, Jim. You're probably right, Jim. I would have to tend to agree with that.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same here too. It's pretty much the same here. And then I go out and do it again and again and again. But we've got, in my area here, we got to a point and we just got fed up with it. We just turned around and said, look, we're not going to call the cops. We're going to do the old-fashioned way. You catch and you're in trouble. We're not calling the cops. We'll deal with it ourselves. We'll give our own justice. You walk in this property, we'll do our own justice. And I'll tell you what, it went quite very quickly.
Yeah, JD's right. I mean, JD just said it right there in his comment. Yeah. Yeah.
We had some dramas here. I mean, we've been having some of these entitled 12-year-olds that go around pinching cars and damaging other people's properties and whatnot. And then, same thing. Well, slapping my hand. Oh, they got a bad upbringing, all this and that. They send them out again. Yes. Yes. We can't do that here. We can't do that here. So we got
can't do that here either. We can't do that here either, Jim.
Well, you can, but you can't just can't get caught. We had dramas here one time when it took the police 3.5 hours to turn up, and it was quite a serious one. And go, you know what? We won't worry about calling you guys next time. We'll just deal with it ourselves and dump the person down the lake. And then you're going to have a hard time finding out where it came from, because the whole community's after him. And the cop says, well, you're right there. If you do that, we don't know where to start. And go, well.
Yeah, well, I do want to say one thing. I do love Jim's show. I do, and it's really tough for me sometimes to get to your show, Jim, because I'm usually on the road or I'm shredding. But I do watch your replays, and I try to get on when I can, because I do love your show. I mean, it's a little bit more freer than most shows, and I do enjoy your show, Jim. So, just wanted to say that, brother.
So as we have, I don't know if you guys we say it a little bit differently over there, but like we've got one thing here: you don't poop in your backyard or front yard. You don't shit in your own yard. And the people that you're actually going to do harm to are probably the people that's going to come up and give you help when you need the most. So yeah. Well, it's a society we're living with, and I'll tell you what, the justice system is run by a bunch of do-gooders that just don't know. I don't know. I don't know the right way to deal with it, but I mean they're letting away with the criminal. The criminals are treated as royalty, and the victims are treated like trash. Okay, Les. Yeah. Take care. Thank you for joining in. I'm going to call quits as well. I need to get some work done around my layout. I've been a slack ass as it is. So with that,
Sorry, I was a little quiet there, Artie. I've been kind of tinkering with. I delved into the bargain bins at the hobby shop and picked up some cool stuff. So I'm kind of tinkering with that. So
all right, okay. Well, I'm going to put you guys down at the bottom for now.
See you guys.
So just hang in there at the bottom for a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, guys, until next week, everyone have fun and take care. Look after yourselves. And hopefully I'll get something done between now and next week. And I don't know yet, Mystic. We'll have to wait and see, okay? I don't know. I've got a few things I've got to deal with first. So anyway, I'll with that, I'll sign off and I'll talk to you guys all soon. Okay? Catches.